very special guest joining us right now on the Nick Cattles Show, Sports 1140 KHTK. Star point guard for the Sacramento Kings, especially with this recent stretch he's had in a superlative rookie season. Davion Mitchell is with us. Davion, thank you for the time. It is much appreciated. Let me start off with this, Davion. Now, I haven't posterized someone since I was about 12 years old playing with my buddies on a 7-foot hoop. So you're talking to somebody who's 5'7", 5'8", with about a 20-inch vertical. I have no idea, Davion, how it feels to catch a body. And last night, you caught a body in Houston. What's that feel like, my man?
Yeah, it felt great. I mean, I haven't caught a body like that since probably like my junior year in high school. I haven't jumped like that in a minute, but I mean, it felt great, especially when you got the teammates behind you hyping you up. Now it scares a lot of people, a lot of big men not to jump, so it's going to open up a lot of lanes for me.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, was that your best in-game dunk of your life?
No, it wasn't.
Which one was it then? Give me your best. Give me your best in-game dunk.
I think it was my junior year. We played at rival school, Bradwell Institute. Everyone was at the game, and towards the end of the game, I got a fast break, and I kind of windmilled on someone. He kind of ran under me, and and I windmilled, and it went viral.
Of course it did. What do you got, a 41? Yeah. Is it 41-inch vert? Is that what you got?
I don't know. I haven't tested in a minute. Last time I tested it was like 39.5.
You got springs in them legs. Let me ask you this. Last question about this dunk thing. Well, I might have one later on too, but here's one more. Do you say anything to that unfortunate human being that you just destroyed? Like when you take somebody's soul like that, do you say something or do you just allow that to speak for itself?
Are you asking me, did I say anything to him or?
Yeah, did you say anything last night?
I mean, nah, not to him. I'm trying not to get no texts, man. Trying not to pay any fines or anything like that. So I just talk to my bench, look at my bench, and just they kind of hype me up, and I just ask them like, "What's wrong with him?" That's all it was.
Well, I appreciate that because he doesn't need any more mess. I mean, you did enough to that poor guy. Davion Mitchell is with us. Let me ask you about the defensive end of the floor, Davion. Of course, everybody talks about your nickname and everybody talks about your ability on that end of the floor. When did you first realize that you could be a special kind of lockdown defender?
I think honestly, I would say like middle school, 8th grade, where I was actually playing on the circuit, the Nike circuit with the Georgia Stars, and my coaches just put me on the best players, and I was just doing a really good job on them. I mean, at the time we were going against ranked players, and I was just doing a really good job on them, and that's kind of just been my calling card. Like even my freshman year in high school, and things like that. I just love guarding the best players. I feel like I'm a competitive guy, and I want to win. So if I got to guard the best player, that's what I'm gonna do. So I think that's where it came from. 8th grade, playing on the circuit.
Aside from agility and quickness and athleticism and ability to move laterally, would you just say maybe one of the most important things about defending night in and night out is wanting to? Yeah,
for sure. I think it's a little bit of skill into it, but mostly it's just effort. Just wanting to do it, wanting to get to stop playing hard, and usually when you're playing that hard, a lot of people don't want to be bothered anyways, especially on the offensive end. Someone playing that hard, they don't really want to be bothered. So that's kind of just me. That's who I am. That's what I bring to the table.
Davion Mitchell with us here on the Nick Cattles Show, Sports 1140 KHTK. All right, last one about dunking in your defense. What's better, dunking on somebody like last night or shutting someone down like you did last night at the end of that game?
Oh, probably shutting someone down just because when you win the game, the dunking is just the beginning of the game. It's just a little momentum thing, but you still got a lot of game to play. But just the last play, getting that stop, it feels a lot better.
Well, I don't know how many guys can do both of those things in one game, but you did them last night. I wanted to ask you about Tyrese Haliburton, Davion. In his Players Tribune letter, he said that you were the first person to call him. Can you explain the emotions of that day, and what was that call like for you?
Yeah, I just remember that day actually because we knew everyone knows trade deadline coming up, and he put in the group chat that he was getting traded, and I mean usually when a guy like him, Tyrese, you would think he's playing around because he's younger. He's kind of like our point guard. He facilitates. He's just a good person, and just when he said in the group chat, everyone thought he was playing. So I called him at first. It's like, "Yo, are you playing? Are you serious?" And we talked for a little bit, and he was like, "I'm serious," whatever. But I mean, I feel like it worked out for the both of us. I mean, both of the teams. We got a really good player in Sabonis, and he facilitates and plays really well. I love playing with Sabonis and Trey and Dante. Like I feel like everything worked out, and Tyrese is doing this thing over there, being the point guard he wanted to be over here, and he gets the ball in his hands a lot, and they kind of run the offense through him. So I think it worked out for both teams. For both of us.
You know, I think a lot of fans they were bothered by the trade because, of course, they loved Hallie. But I know a lot of fans also said, "Why can't we have all three guys? Why can't we have Fox and Mitchell and Haliburton? Why don't we play all three of those guys?" From your standpoint, from your point of view, Davion, when you were drafted, right, a lot of fans wanted to see all three of you guards play at the same time, Fox, Hallie, and you. When you were drafted and you started to play alongside those guys and practice with them, did you believe that you could play all together at one point and consistently, or did you think that the writing was on the wall and it was really only a matter of time that one of you three would have to move on?
Yeah, I think, at first, is you look at it when you get drafted, it's like they draft you because you think that it can happen. And, I just throughout the season, and I think all of us are guys who kind of need the ball to impact the game a little bit. I think for me it's a defensive thing too, but also like an offensive end. I'm not like a guy who can run off pin downs and spot and shoot, and it's more off of ball screens, and just like De'Aaron Fox, just like Tyrese Haliburton. But you got to think it's only one ball out there, and none of us really are guys who can catch and shoot. Tyrese can and De'Aaron can from time to time, but that's not what we're comfortable doing. So I think at some point you had to realize like one of us got to go. Just because we got to get something else. A guy who can space the floor, catch the shoot, and also make plays, but not just like ball dominant, just like us three guards are.
Yeah, I want to ask you about that. I want to drill down on that a little bit more, Davion. And Davion Mitchell is with us. Just a few more for you, Davion. I know you're down in Houston. Not a bad place to be for an extended trip, I will say that. But I want to ask you about that because ever since the Haliburton trade, De'Aaron Fox, right? De'Aaron, his level of play was higher than it was before the trade. Then he gets hurt. You slide in to start. In the last 2 or 3 weeks, you have upped your game. What's the difference been the last couple of weeks for you? Is it as simple as just starting?
Not just that. I just think like when you have someone out like De'Aaron Fox, it's like you got to step it up. You got to step your game up. And I think I was always ready for that moment. I work hard every day for moments like this, and I just think when my time was called, I was ready, and I'm just still keep trying to play at a high level every game, playing as hard as I can. But yeah, when you got someone like that who facilitates and scores the ball, who's kind of does everything for our team, then I know I had to step it up.
Do you feel more comfortable starting than coming off the bench?
Oh yeah, for sure. I feel like everyone can see that. I just think starting is. I don't know. I don't know why I feel more comfortable, but it's just like I feel a lot more comfortable starting than coming off the bench.
Davion Mitchell is with us, Nick Cattle Show, Sports 1140 KHTK. 2 questions left for you, Davion. I was watching the game last night, and this has been said a lot on Twitter. It was said during the broadcast by Katie doing the game on NBC Sports California. When you look at the game, right, and as a guy who's played now the chunk of the season, you got about a handful of games left. Would you say the game has started to slow down for you at this level?
Yeah, 100%. You play that many games, and you kind of know all the schemes. Everyone does usually the same thing, the same coverages. It's just a matter of the reads that you make. And I watched a lot of film and worked on a lot of things in my game that I know I want to get to, and man, I can get to it. No one's going to stop me from getting to it. So it definitely slowed down a little bit. There's still a lot of things that I need to work on, a lot of things I actually need to slow down on, but we're just going to keep going.
Last one for you. You talked about how you thought one of you three guys out of Hallie, Fox, and you would have to move on at a certain point. I think the million-dollar question now, at least for me, Davion, is once this season is over and you start looking into the future, do you believe that you and Foxy can be in the same backcourt?
100%. I just think because also defensively, I think we're really good defensively, or attack guards, and I think during this offseason I'm going to work on a lot of my catching and shooting just because I know I have to space the floor with a guard like that and get downhill and make plays. So just also be able to catch and shoot better, come off screens and shoot the ball better. I mean, a lot of things that I'm going to work on to make it more comfortable with us playing together. But yeah, 100%. Just because I think he's going to work on his game too, where he know I can come off the screen and throw it to him, and we can just play off each other. But I think we can play together. I mean, it's basketball. It's not really that hard.
Well, it has not been a great season for Kings fans or the players, but there's been a couple of silver linings. One of the silver linings is, of course, Davion Mitchell. He caught a body last night. He shut somebody down to end the game. I won't bring up either name because we don't want to embarrass those fellas. It was bad enough to watch it play out. They saw themselves on SportsCenter. It's bad enough. His name is Davion Mitchell. Davion, continued success and health, and I had some fun. Hopefully you did too, and let's do this again soon, my man.
Same thing. Sounds good. Thanks.